DNVR Draft Pod. We're doing it, baby, from the remote Toyota studios around the Denver metro area, the Front Range. I always thought that's too long of a commute to consider Foco Denver Metro. But, you know, you want to pad your stats, do you, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's more than no-co territory, but we're all in this together, right? You know,
damn straight.
We all support Toyota.
Unity, yes. Not the best intro I've ever given, but we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend, a Draft Pod OG, Justin Michael, a man who's making waves, breaking news on the forefront, and got his finger on the pulse with all things college football, especially his Colorado State Rams, on top of all the other awesome work he's doing at DMVR. Check out J-Mike on the Avs Pod and read that newsletter, man. You are missing out, because I was thinking I want to get J-Mike's Broncos thoughts, but if you're a newsletter reader, J-Mike's got you covered on his Broncos thoughts on a pretty regular basis there as well. How are you doing, big dog?
I'm good, man. We got Nuggets tonight, Avs tonight, fun college football slate, border war coming up. I mean, this is what it's all about. I'm not going to sleep a ton these next couple of days, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be in the studio tonight, going to be in Wyoming on Saturday, be at the Broncos game Sunday. So we're gonna put some miles on the old tires these next couple of days. But
love that on the old Toyota. Yeah, sleeping is for early April when you're grinding O-line tape for the draft and you're falling asleep with an iPad in your hand. You know, that's when it's time to sleep. I love that so much. Like I love watching O-line tape, but it like also soothes me, so it's a great way to fall asleep.
I could see it be kind of meditative, just it's repetitive. You know, you don't have to move your eyes that much. You can just kind of lock in.
I'm also not Baldy, who, by the way, another plug, will be on the Broncos show tonight. So, you know, very cool. When I'm watching O-line tape, I really got to think through it. It's soothing, but it's also stimulating. And yeah, that's kind of a perfect time to. It's like my film friend, David. He was like, man, I can't believe it. But like, if I'm watching some high-end art film that I'm just loving at the theater, puts me at ease, and like I fall asleep like an old man. I can't believe I'm doing it. But it also makes sense. Anyways, enough time of chit chat, because we have so much to get into here. And yeah, let's dive right in, and let's dive right into some Broncos thoughts, and Broncos thoughts related to my life, because I currently, J-Mike, I can't get away from these two guys. Every single week, these two prospects are in my feed. They pop when I'm watching college football on Saturday, and I just kind of am obsessed over Oregon tight end Kenyon Saadiq and Ohio State linebacker Arvell Reese, who has just skyrocketed up boards. In fact, we've talked about Reese a decent amount, but I want to get your thoughts and then extend that to a bigger Broncos conversation here, because well, I think everyone's hyped about 5-2. Everyone also has some criticisms, concerns, and what have you for what we've seen these last couple weeks against the against the two New York teams, right? So Saadiq is this do-it-all tight end. He's a smidge undersized, but God, is he an amazing blocker. And he just keeps doing more and more in that kind of vaunted Oregon pass game. I think he's already playing better than Jake Ferguson. And I just, every single week, J-Mike, it's some flashy play. This week he has 4 receptions against Rutgers, but goes for 80 yards and 2 tuds. He'd be so perfect in a Broncos uniform. He's undersized, so I have hope that maybe he drops, but he's like so head above the rest in this tight end class, where I'm like also a bit skeptical that it ever happens. How are you feeling about the need at tight end and just needs for Broncos, and any thoughts on Saadiq?
Saadiq's a stud. I mean, he moves well. He was 2 inches taller, but he's still 6'3", 245. So it's not like he's slight or anything like that. Solid red zone target, a guy who's tough to bring down in the open field. Like, I mean, he'd be awesome in this offense. I will say it feels like they're kind of finally getting Evan Ingram to progress a little bit in this system, and we're kind of seeing him come to life. So maybe this doesn't feel like quite as pressing of a need, 2 months from now. But I think it's a position that you need depth, and I think it's a position you need more contribution from. And like when you're watching some of these games and Nate Adkins is getting targets, it just makes you think, like, what if they had a guy who could actually move out there? All love to a great blocker, though, and Nate Adkins, love the guys doing the dirty work. They need more flash at the position.
100%. And beyond flash, as the guy who kind of obsesses with the line of scrimmage and personnel packages, to me right now, like right from who's in the huddle, you have a good understanding of what the Broncos may be running. And it's a little too predictable. And I know people in the offseason were pretty tired about hearing about the Joker position and all this stuff, but it's why that was such a talking point, is so that even a dummy like me can't call out the plays before they're even happening. Because right now, if Tyler Bidet is lining in the backfield, or Jaleel, that game where Jaleel was starting, 9 out of 10 times, that's going to be a pass play. And Bidet's going to be relied on as a blocker, or it's probably 3rd and long and you're using those guys in the screen game. And if it's the other running backs, you probably also know what's coming, and with the tight ends, it's the same thing. If it's a 1 tight end set, 11 personnel, and Evan Ingram's out there, 9 out of 10 times, it's going to be a pass play. And when it's those 2 tight end sets with Troutman and Adkins, they're either, if those guys are out wide, they're running a screen to their side, or if they're lined up in line, they're running there. And then there's Sherfield. When Sherfield's on the field, Sherfield, again, out wide, they're probably running a screen to that side. Lined up, in tight, they're probably running the ball somewhere around that. And there's just not, these specialized players aren't checking off all the boxes to make you have a more diverse offensive package. And it's why I think the stuff outside of the 2-minute drill, we're down double digits and now we just got to kind of drop back and let Bo rip it, isn't really working out. And it seems too cutesy and it's frustrating everyone. And I think it really, in a lot of ways, does come down to the youth and inexperience, and also the fact that a lot of your skill players are a bit too niche right now.
They've got some versatility in terms of what they can do with the guys. The problem is like you're saying, they all have their individual skill set, and you kind of know like what they're going to do if they're going to be in the mix. I will say they're definitely young at receiver. I think you hope a guy like Pat Bryant is going to progress in the blocking game, and then some of that stuff that'll maybe give you a
already
little bit
playing
more
up in the block game, right? It might be more the passing game that you want him to develop, but I think
that too.
That's where Pat is a valued asset. Not to interrupt you, but yeah.
No, you're right, and I think it's just kind of what you're talking about. Some of the issues with guys like Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims. They're fast, they're dangerous with the ball in their hands in the open field, but they don't do a whole lot other than that. And when I think of kind of the Broncos' heyday, maybe they didn't have quite as much speed as they do now, but guys like Rod Smith, Eddie McCaffrey, those dudes were gritty. They were good blockers, and we just don't really have that right now. And I think that's what leads to kind of having to go to these, we got to go to the multi-tight end sets because our receivers don't block.
Yeah.
And until they get, more of that, I think it's going to be kind of an issue. And as much as people are tired of hearing about the Joker thing, I kind of think this is the perfect example of why you need a tight end who can be impactful both as a pass catcher and a blocker. Also will allow you to attack the middle of the field with more consistency, which is going to open up things out wide for some of that screen game. Or you need a running back who's a really good pass catcher, but also an impactful pass blocker and a good route runner, because it's not just as simple as like we can, do a little swing pass to him. He's got to be able to run across the middle and be deceptive and add some creativity, because I think Peyton's a great schemer, I just don't know if they have the guys to play the way that he's been calling it, and it's kind of part of why we're seeing some of the inconsistencies and the long stretches of stagnation.
For sure. I mean, this is something Benny's talked about. Like, he's not seen enough from that intermediate pass game, and I think a good tight end can open that up for sure. Then there'd be an Oregon connection, which would be nice. Fran and I were talking, I don't know, last time we did a remote draft pod, and I was asking him, it's unique to have an undersized tight end also be such a plus blocker the way that Saadiq is. And I was like, putting him on the spot, like, who's the last undersized tight end who you liked as a blocker? And while he's not quite undersized, maybe average size, not oversized, the name that came up was Trey McBride. And I mean,
Trey is probably closer to 6'5", 6'4",
and he's definitely 250.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Trey, like, he's a guy, but he just had the mentality. Some guys are into it and some guys aren't. And he's just a player that embraces that role of the offense. And it's part of what got him onto the field so quickly. He's dangerous as a pass catcher, but like his ability to make an impact in that game is just huge.
Yeah. And I mean, think being able to add a Trey McBride to this offense and stop mixing and matching the way you are right now.
You're going to get all the Ram fans up in Fort Collins in my mentions again. They still tweet about, how did they not draft this guy?
I mean, yeah, Torrey Horton looking pretty good too. Definitely worth following our draft pod takes sometimes on some of the local kids, even though we get accused of being biased also. So yeah, I'm just obsessed, man. I'm just obsessed. And that it's in a class of like, there's some intriguing tight ends. Love Joe Royer at Cincinnati. The Oklahoma kid who's a converted linebacker is a
That's what I was going to say. I can't remember his name right now, but he's fun to watch.
Eli Stowers at Vandy's nice pass catcher, but they're all more of that receiving tight end type. Maybe Max Clare, the Ohio State tight end, is a smidge more complete, but he's 6'4", 236 in a Fran's draft guide, which dropped on the website this week. Go check it out. It is awesome. So comprehensive. His comp's Grant Calcaterra. That's not an inline tight end right there. So, he kind of stands out above the rest as a guy who's not going to be that niche tight end and can kind of check off all the boxes for you. I just think there's a lot of value there. Jaron Knack is the name of the Ohio State, Oklahoma tight end. 6'2", 233 though. He plays like a former linebacker. Like, dude will like literally he'll jump to like hurdle a guy, but instead of hurdling, he'll jump right into them. Just, like
launching himself.
Yes, he plays like a linebacker at tight end, which is kind of fun. I guess a joker in his own way. But yeah, I am just obsessed, dude. I cannot get enough. So yeah, I guess when you two Broncos fan who's listening watch Oregon, tell me if you are also obsessed or following in line in that. And if maybe I'm seeing the wrong thing. And I think, we can talk running backs on the other side. Obviously, the jumbo packages were a big thing. Now Palcho is having a start at left guard, and Pert is injured. So I think that's impacting things. I was hammering the O-line being a bigger need than maybe we thought coming into the draft last year. So I definitely think it needs to be top of mind. And then we got to hit linebacker as well, because that's also
a need,
a huge need. And we're not saying anything different, as I see Jose, who we dedicated the first segment of the pod to. He's been hammering the linebacker train for like years. So all that to get into on the other side. But first, we want to give a shout out to our friends at Coors Light. Man, these Broncos games, it's talk about choosing chill. They're making it real hard to choose chill when you watch a Broncos game, at least for the first three quarters as of late. But then it feels so good when they pull through at the end, and it's kind of like having a silver bullet at the end of a long day. The mountains turn blue. It's refreshing. It's fresh. It's cold and smooth, just like the Rockies, the mountains, not the baseball. So yeah, it's the perfect companion to watching sports in the fall, to chilling outside while this weather is still great. When you choose chilling in life, whether you're having a good one or you're suffering through the first 3 quarters of a Broncos game, Coors Light always there to choose chill this winter. And reach out for a Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door by visiting CoorsLight.com/DNVR, or you can find it pretty much anywhere. Duh, it's Coors Light that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And another true sponsor and homie of the show, Bet365, where things are never ordinary. I mean, things are never ordinary when you are betting on football. You've got hot takes. You are hammering that Broncos money line because you still believe. They were like plus 1,000 plus when I was looking, even going into the
that game was so crazy, dude.
I mean,
I was coming off of all the Norvell news, so like I had to do a breaking live show, and I recorded the game, and then it caused all this drama in my family. My dad was watching it at my brother and his friends want to go to the bar. They thought the game was over. Dad figured out it was a comeback on the radio. He's like, "We got to tune in," so we tune in. I'm like, "They're down 18." Sure as hell, it cashed.
It was, I mean, what I was saying on the watch along, I felt like I was part of a human experiment and just being like tested.
That
like
was dumber than a Tebow
insane.
Comeback. Like that,
it was so
one of the craziest finishes I've ever seen.
100%. When sports get crazy, sports get fun. When you've got your hot takes, you want to put your money where your mouth is. You want to believe and put a little Swiss cheese on it. You can do that all with our friends at Bet365. If you haven't already, breaking news for you from Bet365, new customers can now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win, lose, or draw. If you're a soccer bettor like me, sign up, use our code DNVR365 exclusively with them, or Nuggets opener, get our exclusive custom SGP, the year of Jamal, it's called. You just go on the Nuggets Warriors page and you'll see that in the boosted SGPs. I mean, nowhere else can you find that other than Bet365. And you can also get those $200 in bonus bets to play with, put some futures on. We'll talk about our picks. Hopefully J Mike is more tapped in than I am, because my bets, I'm just like, it's 500, and then I'm trying to finance my parlays, and my parlays aren't financing themselves. But must be 21 plus, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you, someone you has a gambling problem, wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. TNCs do in fact apply. Yeah, J Mike. So continuing this convo on the offense, you mentioned the running backs, which that's a weird one, because I still believe in RJ Harvey and see plenty of nice flashes, but he's still coming into his own, and being a running back in that Sean Payton offense isn't always the easiest. And J.K. Dobbins, who was performing as a top 10 running back in the league, has slowed down a smidge, as has the running game in general. But if we were to talk about 2 other perfect fits in this offense, I would say look no further than the running back duo that they've got there in South Bend. They had a really demonstrative win against USC, where Jeremiah Love, who, I mean, talk about dream prospects, just what a stud. He goes off for 200 plus yards. And then they have Jadarian Price, who is Fran's number 2 running back in the draft guide and has a Felix Jones comp. Had to tell producer Dion Smith a little bit of Felix Jones. He was telling me he's too young for that. He's only seen highlights. So I was telling him about.
Oh, that makes me feel old as hell.
Yeah, well,
that's where we're at. The kids don't know Felix Jones.
Yeah, he didn't know about the Wild Hog offense with Peyton Hillis and Felix Jones and Derek McFadden taking direct snaps. That's Yeah, that's
to be fair, like 07 was one of the craziest college football seasons of all time. So like that whole time frame is kind of ingrained deep in my brain.
Yeah. Some say the GOAT season right there. That's the year where like West Virginia was ranked in the top 5 for a minute, right?
South Florida was number 1 at one point. Like it was just chaos.
Noel Devine, Pat White. Oh, those were the days.
The YouTube glory days of like college football highlights.
Simpler times, no doubt.
Yeah, Jeremiah Love, man. He's the perfect fit. He's exactly what we were talking about in terms of you need somebody who, when he's out there, you don't definitively know what he's going to do. You know, he's dangerous between the tackles. He's got great vision. He maybe doesn't have the home run hitting speed that Price does in the open field, but he runs well. I mean, it's not like he's solid as a pass catcher. Like they get him involved in a variety of ways, and it just feels like he would be more of a day one impact guy. Maybe he's not the ceiling of maybe it's not the same of some of these like generational running back prospects, but I think he's just like exactly what you need right now in this offense.
100%. Yeah, it's I don't know that the raw athleticism of Saquon is there, as you're pointing out. Genty just had a little more contact balance. That's like, S tier.
Yeah, Genty just ran through tackles that didn't make sense. Like guys would square Genty up and wrap him up, and he would just keep going. And it wasn't just Mountain West guys. I mean, it was everyone he played.
He also, Love does have some of that, like in a phone booth, explosiveness, contact balance, power, where he can kind of make something happen out of nothing that those guys have. The one knock on him is his pass protection, though. And again, that is going to limit your opportunities to get on the field on third down in this offense. And Price, while he gets the, he's the scat back in this offense, only 11 catches in his career. I think only 1 reception all season this year, which
I was surprised to see him so high in the draft guide. I was like, I mean, he pops when he's out there for sure, but I mean, that's a bold one from our guy Fran, but he knows ball, so I mean, I'm not going to second guess him.
For sure. And it's actually 2 receptions for 44 yards and a tud, so not too bad on the production there, but 2 receptions, only 11 in his career. For that more niche profile, it's like, again, is it too niche? So I don't know. And then, again, O-line, if we want to get out of the skill positions. It's a good offensive line class, but
you got to prioritize it at some point. I mean, you can't keep kicking it down. You got 2 aging tackles.
100%. And a left guard opening that might be staring you in the face. And last year I was talking about, well, what if you drafted one of these top 6 tackles, which, by the way, that class of tackles who I was propping up is playing real good so far as rookies. What if you draft one of those guys and they get their beak wet in the NFL as rookies playing on the inside as a left guard, and then in a year when McGlinchey's contract is up, you make that transition at right guard, and someone like Francis Mayuaga at Miami might be a really nice fit in that. Caden Proctor, Alabama's left tackle, who keeps playing better and better. I think everyone
he looks good, man. I mean, Bama's whole everything is coming together right now in a way we haven't seen in a couple years. But
people were knocking him though after week 1
too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they didn't look great against Florida State, or to be honest,
But Tennessee, he looked amazing, and he's really coming around, and I mean, Broncos have that Utah connection. Look no further than their right and left tackle. Isaiah World, the Nevada transfer, who you might be
former
Norvell
guy,
yeah. He's been playing at left tackle for Oregon, and another Oregon guy I'm pretty high on, and coming along nicely as the season's progressing. He had some really nice blocks against Rutgers as they just put it on the.
He moves well, man, for a guy of his stature.
He's mammoth. He's
nimble, yeah,
mammoth sized. And then, Broncos fans would like a center. Terrible news. The consensus top center in the class, Auburn's starter, he's going to be out for the season. So the plot thickens on on that end for sure.
Connor Lew.
Yep. Thank you. And then, circling back on the running backs, and since you're a Bama guy, Justin Hayes, the Bama transfer who's been playing, I probably mispronounced his name. I think it's Haynes.
Haynes, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one for me all year. I'm going to be calling him Justice Hayes all year. It's Justice Haynes.
Yeah, Justice Haynes.
Yes, we're going to get that right. I promise. He is unbelievable, and I've talked about him plenty on this show, but he's a guy who every time I watch him, I'm like, damn, he'd look nice in a Broncos uniform.
I like Jonah Coleman of Washington.
Yes, a guy to watch this week as well.
I've seen some good backs. I saw him. Mm-hmm. I've seen Robert Henry of UTSA. He's nasty. He's a little more in that niche category, probably like a mid-round type pick, but he's a guy that'll translate in the NFL.
Someone in the chat was mentioning him a couple weeks ago for sure. He cracked the top 150 on the guide for France. So yeah, that's a good call out. Let's hit on linebackers real quick though. Arvell Reese, it's never ending what this kid can do. Another ass-kicking game against Wisconsin. He was second in tackles for the Buckeyes. Buckeyes generational defense right now.
They might be the best individual unit since that LSU offense a couple years back.
Wow.
They're dominant. I mean,
wow, what a call, but that's a great way to put that in perspective.
They suffocate you. They're always in the backfield. Their coverage is everywhere. They got backers that can move. It's the best team money can buy. And that sounds like I'm saying that sarcastically, but it is. They've gone out and they've used the portal very strategically. They have always obviously been able to recruit at a high level in the high school ranks. That defense is nasty. And Patricia's doing a great job.
No doubt. Yes. And
I know, he's like one of those guys, kind of like Jim Harbaugh, who's easy to meme. He's fun, because he is kind of corny, but
yeah,
the guy knows ball, and what he's doing with that defense is pretty impressive.
Unreal. And
plus, getting to go up against these college quarterbacks, he was they were scheming against Peyton Manning back in the day. So dealing with this, it's fine.
It's true. While Belichick, his stock has never been lower, those assistants, Vrabel, McDaniels, Patricia, they're having a moment. Yeah, no, great points. And to think that Reese is in that generational defense is the guy that is popping above all else. He was second in tackles to Caleb Downs against Wisconsin, 4 solo tackles, 1 sack, 2 TFLs, animal. Getting Micah Parsons types of comps. Could you imagine adding a guy like that to this front? And yet at the same time, the defensive side of the coin with the Joker is that really what the Broncos need? Because Alex Singleton, great when he's coming in as a blitzer, right? Flip the game. He forces that Justin Sternad interception by coming downhill. And getting Scattaboo, I think, in pass pro, putting pressure on Dart and forcing that huge game-changing interception. The knock on Singleton is the coverage. So, and Reese, I think the athleticism's there to be all-world in coverage as well. But what you really love about him, if the comp is Micah Parsons, is everything else, right? So I don't know. It's a loaded linebacker class. Maybe Anthony Hill is more the linebacker type for the Broncos, but just throwing that out there. And yeah, Jose says, I still believe in Drew Sanders. In a so way, I Samesies, another Alabama transfer. He is a rich man's Drew Sanders. He is the S tier version of Drew Sanders. So again, while I'm obsessed, I need to tell myself as I sip on a Coors Light and I choose chill on a Saturday, maybe he's not exactly what is missing on the Broncos defense, even though positionally you may think that's the case.
I I don't hate necessarily the idea of just making what's already a strength like an unworldly. I mean, just keep stacking incredible pass rushers. Like, you generate pressure, you're going to win a lot of games. But I do wonder if he is too similar to what they've already have in some of that Nick Bonito. I think he's a more traditional 3-down linebacker than just a straight edge rusher like Nick Bonito. Sorry, getting tongue tied, but I think somewhat similar vein, if we're being real.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, you know what? Probably skyrocketing way too high for the Broncos to ever even have a chance at him.
I mean, him and Downs might both go top 10 at this point.
Yes, and Kenyon Saadiq might be closer to the top 10 than he is pick 25, where we hope the Broncos are picking. So
32.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Those are my draft obsessions. Spent a cool 30 minutes on it. Hopefully you got enough Broncos talk. We're going to talk. I want to hit on a couple wide receivers, and then we've got all sorts of stuff to get into about college football. J-Mike's reporting, a Florida opening on top of Penn State and Colorado State, and so much more. So yeah, we'll hit that on the other side. But I'm seeing the Toyota chat popping off, so I want to give a shout out to our friends at Toyota, not just the studio sponsor, not just the exclusive automotive sponsor of DMVR, but just true homies, man. Even sponsoring the chat, and not to mention they're the perfect Colorado car. SUVs, trucks, they're a part of Toyota's DNA. They're the perfect all-wheel, four-wheel drive. They've got just options out the gazoo. The devil almost got me there, but no, we're going to keep this Toyota read clean. You guys get it. Toyota's the perfect car. It's why anyone at DMVR who drives a Toyota could not speak more highly about it. Their reliability, their customer care, it's just phenomenal. So if you are in the market for a new vehicle, visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mount States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood, J-Mike's old hood and my hood. Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. And then shout out to ourselves, man, where it's never been a greater time to be a diehard. It's never been a greater time to get in on our events. Tailgate season is in full force. So, come see J-Mike at a Broncos tailgate when he can make it. They're doing live shows out there. It's a great time. And become a diehard today, where you can get discounts on our events like our tailgates. You can come to the Mecca at the watch party. The watch parties at the bar are just insane. It's going to be popping off for Nuggets tonight. I'm sure popping off for Avs. It's just a great time to be a DMVR diehard. Get in on our merch. Get in on all of our great writing.
Nuggets preview just dropped. It's awesome. You're gonna want to check it out.
Damn straight. I mean, it's hard to remember and list off all the perks that you get because they really are infinite. We are just a company of Denver sports fans who want to give you the kind of stuff that we craved all our lives as Denver sports fans. So we think we are giving you that at thedmvr.com, and supporting us really means the world. And the best way to support us, aside from leaving us a like and telling a friend about the shows we do, is getting in on the Die Hard perk. So please join in, and would love to see you at the events. And yeah, the support means the world to us. So
holidays coming up. Get your family members a Die Hard membership. They get a shirt. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Really does. This DMVR hat I've got from Branded Bills right here. Pretty snazzy. Comfy AF.
Super comfy. I've got a couple of CSU ones. They're my presenting sponsor on the Ram show. Shout out Branded Bills. We're not plugging them on the show, but shout out them anyways.
Damn.
Use that code BBDNVR. 15% off your first order.
Getting on the fun. There you go. Lots of plugs and lots of content. Good for us. We are company men through and through.
Got bills to pay, guys.
Damn straight. Lots of targets for these top wide receivers who really broke out on week 8. It started on Friday where Chris Bell, the 200-pound wide receiver for Louisville, went off in a massive upset. The Cardinals pulled off against Miami.
It was a fun game.
Dude, that was so fun.
My parents in town, we were all just kind of sitting around eating pizza, watching college football. I was like, this rules.
It was the Chris Bell show for sure. And yeah, college football is just so lit right now. Friday was an all-timer. The Nebraska upset from Minnesota. PJ Fleck, just when you count him out, he's back rowing the boat. Is that what he says? God, he's so corny, but I love him.
If he's smart, he'll just stay at Minnesota and forever. And just when he ekes out the 8-win seasons, he looks like a hero. They'll be patient with him through the 4 and 8s and 6 and 6s. You got a good thing going.
Damn straight. There's worse gigs than just kind of being the king of the Twin Cities. Yeah, Friday was a fun night of college football, but Chris Bell, oh my, that size, that yak ability, that second touchdown on just a little slant in between two defenders. He has to reach out to grab it, but then his feet are so nimble and he takes it to the house on like a 5-yard reception. Everything he was catching, he was like working to make it to the sticks. I just can't believe he's 220 pounds, J-Mike.
The dude plays hard, but it's a weekly thing. Like, he had 9 catches, 136, and a couple of tutties against Miami. But the last 3 games, 31 grabs for 441 and 5 touchdowns. That's what most receivers in college football put up in a season. He's done that over the last 3 games.
100%. And it's a wide receiver class with some nice size. Carnell Tate went off against Wisconsin. We've talked about him plenty on the draft pod this week, but if he was around in the 20s, and also Ohio State wide receivers having a moment with JSN and Ekegbuka, it's been quite the pipeline to the NFL.
Ekegbuka being a perfect fit with Baker in Tampa was like the lock of the century.
Yeah. So he's been amazing. He's a 6'3" wide receiver, and you know how Sean likes his big wide receivers. And Nyck Harbor, the massive wide receiver for South Carolina, he's 6'5", 235. Obviously, things at South Carolina haven't been great this year. Tough game against Oklahoma, but he does get a tud, so I wanted to shout him out. But again, 6'5", 235. That's not... I get names wrong on this show. I don't usually get measurables wrong. Mind-blowing. And these are guys where I would gamble 2 of those 3 names I just listed will be available when the Broncos draft in the 20s and beyond.
They're not going to be like 4-3 guys at the combine. They're not going to, stand out in some of that pre-draft process, but they're just really good football players. And Carnell Tate in this offense would be, he's a perfect fit.
Wow. He would be the perfect equalizer for the possession you get from Sutton and Ingram, the speed you get from Mims and Troy. He would give you that
a guy that moves the sticks consistently.
Can work the sidelines really nicely. Like, he's so good at adjusting his body, making those tough catches, using every inch of his length.
The Toyota chat here, just to clarify, because I wasn't trying to say they won't participate in the combine. I just mean these aren't the guys that in the pre-draft process, when they're in their underwear and they're doing the cone drills and stuff like that, and you're testing the agility. There's going to be quicker guys. There's going to be stuff like that. But to give you an idea of that kind of size, DT was 6'3", 225. And he's got a couple of inches on him, and DT was massive.
Right. And Chris Bell and Harbor are at close to that DT size, if not bigger. So
coming out of school, even.
Yikes. I have to hit on some coaching carousel stuff, J-Mike, because
there's a lot going on. It's going to be the craziest offseason hiring cycle of all time.
100%. You've talked enough about the Rams, so the floor is yours on how much you want to hit on there. But obviously, J-Mike is giving you just the most comprehensive coverage you can find, writing, Twitter, podcast. You're missing out if you're interested in hearing anything about that, if you're not checking his content. But also Penn State, Florida now, an opening coming alive. What are your thoughts on everything that's going down? And maybe give me your biggest coaching carousel hot take, because we've got some big openings. You've got some pretty big coaches who are available all of a sudden. How can you see this unfold? What's your crystal ball telling you?
I think my hot take is that you're going to see some of these big names, James Franklin, get hired up, but I think you're going to see some big programs maybe go with some not unproven, but just up and coming coach types, coordinators. I think the days of paying, a Jimbo Fisher $100 million are less appealing in the rev share era. And I'm very interested to see how a school like Penn State decides to allocate its resources. Like, do we spend $75 million on another coach, or do we spend $25 million on a pretty good coach, and we take all that other money and we just put it into the players? Because that's the only way they're ever going to compete with an Ohio State, a Michigan. I mean, there's levels to this even within the Big Ten, but I mean, that obviously translates on down to the smaller programs. I think if you're an Oklahoma State trying to operate in the Big 12 in 2026, if you're Colorado State moving into the Pac-12, Moneyball might be the wrong way to think of it, but I think you kind of have to do some of that of how do we think differently? Because we're not going to outspend these other schools. So how can we best allocate the resources that we do have in hopes of punching up with some consistency?
Well, and I think two of the coaches who have been able to fit best in this new era of college football are Cignetti at Indiana, coordinator, but then not like coordinator who went the big school route, but coordinator who went kind of the smaller school route and came up that way, more unconventional, not a Sark, Lane Kiffin type trajectory. And a guy like Dan Lanning, right? A top assistant, top coordinator. And
he was a GA on that 2017 team.
Yeah. So I could see that for sure. And I think that's interesting. I think being a big name college coach from yesteryear that made things work how things used to be does have a little less appeal than it.
Well, I think you see it with some of these guys who were longtime successful coaches, but the game has changed dramatically. I will say there's a little bit of stability coming. We don't have to go this far into the weeds, but with some of the rule changes that are going to happen with the recruiting calendar, having one transfer portal cycle per year, it'll be closer to a structured NFL free agency than what we've had over the last 3-4 years, which is just fucking anarchy and chaos. It's led to more parity, which has been interesting, but it's also just been really hard. I mean, when you're seeing some of the best programs fail to build a roster and have the adequate depth to sustain even 1 or 2 injuries, I think it's just been hard for these coaches with it being such a revolving door. I think having a little bit more stability there will help some of these guys, but it's an interesting time, and it's going to be interesting to see who do you go after if you're Penn State? Do you try and poach? Obviously, Cignetti leveraged that into a big time contract extension, a raise for himself. Good on him. I don't know who the top guy would be if I was Penn State, just because again, do you want to overspend for one of these guys? I mean, a Dan Lanning's not going anywhere. Do you try and convince someone like Lincoln Riley to leave SC? I don't know what his buyout is. It's probably something asinine, but I just mean where do you go from here if you're Penn State?
Yeah. And I wonder, could Michigan come open? There might be a lot of competition.
And then on top of that, you're going to have the fallout of that, because when Michigan hires this certain offensive coordinator or this head coach, and then the poaching line is going to be pretty crazy this year. And I think that's where, if you are a school like CSU, it would behoove you, if you have a top guy, say Colin Klein. He's from Loveland, Texas A&M offensive coordinator, recruited a ton in Colorado from his time at Kansas State. makes a lot of sense. He's also probably going to have some pretty big interest at some point, maybe even this winter.
Right.
If you're going for a guy like that, you're probably trying to get that deal done sooner rather than later.
100%. Get ahead of it, because I think it's going to be a pretty wild market. And I mean, you see this all the time. I mean, Colorado got burned a couple times, right? Who was the Cincinnati coach that hasn't done much, but like the contract was lined up, and then he went and got a bigger gig, and Sark was rumored for a second, and then all of a sudden he went to Texas. Yeah, it happens all the time. So
want to get leveraged by an agent.
Yep. Yeah, that's the way to go. We do have some good comments in the Toyota chat that I know Dion's been bringing up already, but was it Conga here talking about Nyck Harbor being a track star, so he might show up. I mean, plus that size, I could see Carnell Tate running pretty well, and Chris Bell with that yak ability. So you never know. And then Jose saying, if you look at the Broncos 26 pending free agents, the need becomes obvious. Singleton and Sternad, linebacker, Dobbins, McLaughlin, Bidet, running back, Whataburger, Throckmorton, Palcho, O-line, Troutman, Atkins, tight end. You're not wrong. It's just going to be finding those perfect fits to replace them. And
which
then
one you prioritize the most?
Right. And then positions like running back, linebacker, what do you see in the second half of the season from Dre Greenlaw, from Dobbins, from Arjun Garvey?
What they get out of Greenlaw over the second half of the season greatly impacts, because you probably could bring back one of Singleton or Sternad. The odds of bringing them both back feels slim.
Right.
But you've got some options.
What do you see from Evan Ingram the rest of the way? I mean, it's
you're certainly not bringing him back on a big deal at this point. I mean,
yeah, and he's still got 1 year left, but 1 year left, it's
no man's land in the NFL.
100%. Okay. Do you have any we're going long, as I could have predicted, but a college football playoff hot take?
I have my 12 teams. If you want me to just breeze through them, we don't have to make it a whole.
Give it to me.
I got Ohio State 1. I've got them as the Big Ten champ. I've got Bama 2, winning the SEC. I just think they're having everything come together at the right spot. I also think you look at the second half of the schedule for Bama versus Georgia, Ole Miss, A&M, some of these other teams. It's a little more favorable, more home matchups, less top 25 matchups. They've kind of gotten through some of the toughest portions of their schedule already. I've got Indiana at 3, losing the Big Ten championship to Ohio State, but running the table in the regular season. I remember they changed the seeding process, so it won't be kind of wonky where you end up with Boise with the bye like last year. I've got Georgia at 4, losing the SEC title game to Bama. I've got Georgia Tech at 5, winning the ACC. BYU at 6 is the Big 12 champ, the lone representative out of the Big 12, which is a really fun league, but I think they're gonna cannibalize each other, and you're gonna end up with like 5 different 9-3 teams and really kind of kill your playoff odds. I've got Ole Miss 7, barely sneaking in. We'll see. Miami 8, Oregon 9. Maybe Oregon should be a little higher in second thought. A&M 10, Notre Dame 11, because their schedule is a cakewalk from here.
Yep.
And then South Florida as the Group of 5 representative, or the 5th highest rated conference champion.
Wow, I love it. That's great stuff. Yeah, ASU really complicated things for the Big 12 in a massive.
I mean, they have all the momentum. Now you drop this game. I don't know if you can recover at this point.
Yeah, it's a tough one because Tech was looking so great. Unbelievable Jordan Tyson game. Another wide receiver who just
And have to get one of the PHNX boys on here at some point and get the inside scoop on old Tyson.
100%. We've got a lot of insights around All City on Jordan Tyson. Okay, let's get into these Week 9 picks. Another fun slate, J-Mike, and it starts with UCLA, who've now won 3 in a row, going to Indiana. 25-point favorites. The cheese is all on the Bruins. That feels like too easy, but just remember, Curt Cignetti, this is what he does. He stomps teams. Plus, going from LA to Indiana, feeling good about yourself. And yeah, just Google Curt Cignetti, as he'd tell you. He covers these big spreads. So, J-Mike?
UCLA is a fun story. The
love
turnaround offensively is incredible. Big shout outs to my guy, Tim Skipper. I know Jerry Neuheisel's getting all the love and what he's doing is fun, but put some respect on my man Skip's name. Had multiple successful stints as an interim at Fresno State as well. It's what he does. But I think Indiana covers this. I think maybe it's a game for the first half or so, but I just think that what Indiana is doing offensively right now, they're gonna put it on them pretty good.
Give me the cheese. It might be rat poison, but give me the cheese. Give me
love
UCLA.
It. They're fun. I hope they run the table. Just make things wonky. I mean, if UCLA can, that's good. That'd throw a wrench in the whole season nationally.
Yeah, no kidding. Nico looking good. But this is a totally different test. Totally different test.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't Michigan State. Like,
yeah. No, nor is it Maryland. Ole Miss at Oklahoma. -5.5 for the Sooners at home. Oklahoma taking care of business against South Carolina, while Ole Miss just lost to Georgia and has another tough road test against the Sooners. I'm a Mateer guy, but he has looked different post-injury. 5.5. That's a sneaky line. What do you see here?
My gut says Ole Miss pulls the upset, so I guess I would take them to cover the 5.5. It just feels like this is what they do. Like they lose a stupid game that they probably should have won. Everybody's out on Ole Miss and Lane, and then they drop 50 on the road, and it's like, oh yeah, they are still pretty good, huh?
I like it, and Oklahoma's got to score points.
I just don't know if they can keep up with this Ole Miss offense. I mean, OU defensively has made a big leap, so there is a world in which they just, if they dominate in the trenches, they get pressure on the QB, generate some turnovers. Like there's certainly a world where this goes sideways for Ole Miss, but I think they're far more athletic at the skill positions, and I feel like this is just kind of classic Lane Kiffin territory.
I like it. It'd be a big one on the road. I had
a chat saying Harbor runs in his 4 threes. If that's the case, that's
online those things are always, but that's the case.
It's just hard for me to fathom a guy that big doing that. But I mean, hey, I'm not fighting you.
Would be a perfect Bronco. Okay, Bama at South Carolina. Bama 12-point favorites. The fact that this isn't bigger, I think, tells you something. Also, the only reason we mentioned this is because Harbor, Lenoris, Sellers. There are some prospects on South Carolina. They certainly have not lived up to it. They are 3-4. They are really disappointing this year, but it is at South Carolina, and this is a 1:30 kickoff. Not quite a night game, but I think the atmosphere might be a little more lit than some of these other South Carolina doozies earlier in the day. Bama rolls.
The only thing that worries you is obviously that South Carolina pass rush. Bama's been running the ball so effectively. I mean, if they can make them one-dimensional, I like what Simpson's been doing, but I mean, there is a path. You could see it on the road to it being a tight game. But I do like Bama to cover it. Maybe make you sweat it out a little bit. South Carolina kind of hangs around, but I still see him pulling away, winning that like 13-16 range.
Yeah, I think Bama rolls. But against my best judgment, I'll go on South Carolina. I think they've got one of these in them where they keep it close.
They're talented enough at home to give anybody a hard time, but it's just, can they score with Bama? Kind of like what we talked about with OU in the Ole Miss matchup.
100%. Jeremy Bernard, Caden Proctor, Ty Simpson, Heisman favorite, J-Mac?
If they win out, I think he has to be, but it's been a weird year. Like nobody is taking it by the reins. Like at this time last year, it was a 2-man race pretty definitively.
Right.
And I still think there's like 6-7 guys that are in the mix at this point.
I agree. Deontay Lawson, LT Overton, on defense, both guys who, Lawson's a linebacker. Overton, not a need that was mentioned by Jose, but FJFM, doesn't get an extension. Yeah. Those would all be guys to watch. So prospects galore in this one. Do you have a QB1 right now for the draft? Are you a Mendoza guy? Dante Moore, Ty Simpson?
I like the highs I've seen from Dante Moore the most. I think Ty Simpson's put himself in that equation. I think Dante Moore throws the best ball.
Yeah, I think the best tools for sure.
Yeah,
but I could see Simpson. The other thing,
especially with the strong half of second season, or strong half over the second portion of the season here.
It'll be interesting because Mendoza will be. How much does the NFL value athleticism at the position? Ty Simpson will be how much have we learned from the fact that these 1-year starters just struggle, man. They just struggle. Though I guess Mac Jones, maybe this comeback with the 49ers is going to prove that all wrong. Let's keep this train moving. BYU, your favorite to win the Big 12 at Iowa State. The plot thickens, J-Mike. It is not the 11 ranked Cougars who are favorites in this game. It is the Cyclones at home who are -3 faves. And I don't care. The book is telling me something. And I won't take the cheese. The cheese is BYU +3. I will take Iowa State -3. But you are my expert. Tell me everything.
Iowa State is certainly a solid defense. At home, they're tough. I don't know. I just have a hard time based on what I saw from that QB against CU a couple weeks ago, seeing him move the ball on this BYU defense. So give me the Cougars.
Yeah. Rocco can be a tough watch, but he is a vet QB and can surprise you. I also, with these openings, I wonder, is Matt Campbell, is the age of Matt Campbell done? I don't know. He pulls off a couple more upsets. Maybe Matt Campbell's stock is back.
Especially for like a Virginia Tech type, something like that. Like a good gig, not a great gig, but like you want a program builder.
Just saying. I didn't put this one in the rundown, but Mizzou at Vandy might be the best game of the weekend. Vandy -2.5. Some good prospects in this one, especially Mizzou's defensive line and Eli Stowers, who we basically mention every single week. Vandy coming off a massive upset where Pavia did the Heisman pose, so don't sleep on him. But you think Vandy pulls this off? Is Vandy for real?
I do think Vandy is for real. I think they're a top half SEC team. They had a pretty tough schedule this year in their draws, so I don't think they're going to make it, to the playoff. But I like them to win this one. They've just got a swagger and an energy to them. That might be me and my heart kind of going for like just they're the fun story.
You root for the underdog.
But I mean, they are the athleticism they have is comparable, and they don't get bullied in the trenches in the same way. And they have a quarterback who plays with probably an ignorant amount of confidence. So it's, give them the game. I like this one.
Say what you will about all the problems we have in college football, but what made me smile was you talking up Vandy, and we live in an age where Indiana, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech are like way high up.
Haynes King's must-watch TV.
Brother, is he ever. Illinois at Washington. Illinois' defense really nice, but we're on Jonah Coleman watch in this one. Again, another one where the ranked team is actually the dog on the road. Washington -4 on the Bet365 Sportsbook.
Washington's something crazy, like 24-1 at home over their last 25. That Ohio State loss is the only loss they've had at home in the last couple years.
What a stat.
It's a tough place to play.
Yeah.
I think Illinois is up for it. I feel like this is going to be a dogfight. I like Damon Williams too, though. I mean, he's a guy that can extend the play. He can create for you. I think they have a small enough. I think they have just enough of an advantage at the skill positions and QB to kind of pull this one out. But shout out to Illinois. Tanner Arkin, Fort Collins native, had a nice little career there after starting at CSU.
Hell yeah. Love that. No, I have to go with the against the cheese. Give me Washington -4. Hammer away. A&M at LSU is where we end this. A&M -2.5.
Are they going to be consistent enough offensively?
I know.
I like
so
everything they've
talent.
got going, but I mean, if they just had like a legit, I mean, the quarterback play hasn't been a disaster or anything, but like that's kind of the difference between them and some of these other top SEC teams right now. But give me A&M. I just don't know if LSU is consistent enough.
Could that be a job opening? Like, is Brian Kelly playing for his job at home?
If he's smart, he might already be negotiating for a new get out before they fire you. Go take Florida, go take Penn State.
Here's what I'll say. It's a 7:30 kickoff in Louisiana. The voodoo, the lights.
There's not a harder place to play.
Yep. And that's where your offensive concerns for A&M, I think, come into play.
You might have stuck me into LSU.
There is talent.
Drop one of these games. That's what you look at their second half of the schedule. I think like 3 of the 5 are on the road. They've got a couple ranked matchups. It's a tough.
You told us with your rankings.
Yeah,
throwing that out there.
You talked me into it.
Death Valley me LSU, Death Valley at night. The real ones know. J. Mike, what a pleasure. We could go another hour, but we're gonna let the Toyota chat go. We're gonna let you go. You've got a busy day, as the super producer Dion Smith. This is always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in. Leave us a like on the way out. And yeah, mad love to you. Mile high salute to you all. Go Broncos, baby.
We all silly like the mayor.